Lucky Podcast, Anora Boys. We are in the building. Brought to you by Anora Whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. Audio edibles each and every day on Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Home of the Misguided Passion, forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. And after Notre Dame wins and you take a shot of that Anora whiskey, if you choose to drink, make sure that you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Yo, Lucky Podcast. I am Sean Davis, SQ2 Mics. That dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE, brought to you by Anora Whiskey. Presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Notre Dame. They face off against the USC Trojans and Lincoln Riley as they invade Notre Dame Stadium Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. 9.5-point favorites. That's a lot of points, and it keeps going up because it started off at 7.5 over at FanDuel. Over to FanDuel, download the FanDuel app. What's up, Left?
Another day, another dollar closer to another.
I got a lot. Yo, usually you're the one ruffling the feathers of opposing fans, Left. Usually you're the one ruffling the feathers of opposing fans. But I got the Trojan fans mad at me for something that was said by their people. They're mad at me, and then they're trying to act like I'm not the type of dude just to throw stuff out there. Oh, I got proof and a platform to talk about it. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have proof and a platform to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. The last I checked, CJ Carr and Bryce Underwood are the same thing.
Yep.
Same quarterback. Pretty much the same. Not much difference. Nothing massive. Not a massive upgrade. Not too much of an upgrade. Just pretty much the same. And then Notre Dame and Michigan, they're pretty much the same team. According to people. It's amazing. Remember we did yesterday's show? See, this is what the only reason I'm bringing it up. Because yesterday we talked about narratives and perception versus reality. Remember we talked about that yesterday?
That's right.
Narratives and perception versus reality. That's what we talked about. That's what we talked about, man.
That's what we talked about.
And it's a whole lot of perception out there about Notre Dame that's just way off base.
It's off base.
Way off base. So if USC fans want to come on in. I don't have a problem with USC because, see, this is what I love, Left. See, they think I have a problem with USC. See, I'm not one of these fans that just because I'm a lifelong Notre Dame fan that I despise USC. I love Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Love Matt Lyman. Love Troy Polamalu. Love dude. My dad was a lifelong USC fan.
Yeah.
I grew up with a USC fan.
I watched the Super Bowl with Reggie Bush hanging out.
Left. Where did my daughter graduate from?
USC, unfortunately.
I sent my money to USC. No problem.
Yeah.
Right? So
you basically graduated too. You basically an SC donor.
Hey, I am an SC donor. I put some of that new stuff going up around campus.
So it was you that paid for good old what's the name over there at USC? Chad.
You know, I don't walk into the USC campus. I did it for 4 years. I didn't walk into the campus and like regurgitate my food. Like, oh my God, I can't stand the stench of this campus and the colors. That's not me. It's not me.
Money to make it better. That's all.
Yeah. I don't care. I just heard something that reminded me of what he said. I put it on social media for Notre Dame fans, I didn't put it. That is how you know they might be a little fearful.
Yeah.
Because they're running like, no one said that. No, that's cap. No one, y'all scared?
Scared.
Like, dude, this didn't come from the USC players. It came from someone that covers the team. Nobody. Lincoln Riley doesn't believe what they believe. He's not saying what they're saying. The USC players aren't. So why are the fans so up in arms by something that a media person said? Their opinion, which they're welcome to give their opinion. I just disagree with it. And it just happens to connect to what we talked about yesterday on the show. Narratives surrounding this game that are founded in perspective rather than the facts. Perspective rather than the facts. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. And it's okay. It's okay that it was said, but we don't rock in it. We don't believe it. So let's get to it, Left, because we're gonna hear from Chris ass. I'll get this out of the way real quick. I'm trying to wait for fans to come in. So we can get this out of the way real quick.
Yeah, we gotta address some things. Have a quick press conference.
We gotta address a few things. That's all. Let's get to it. Let me go ahead and retweet your feed, Left.
Yeah, let me go ahead and retweet it too.
Yeah, we got USC fans out here copping, please. You scared? Are you scared?
They already tried to legally.
Scared if somebody actually said that, it's a problem. What are you scared of? Double down. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah,
because you know. Let's get to it. Courtesy. Because they thought I didn't have proof. They thought I was out here selling wolf tickets. That's what they believe. They thought I was out here selling wolf tickets. Courtesy of WeRSC. Is that credible enough for you? Is that credible enough?
That's credible.
YouTube
told you who they are. They said we are.
WeRSC. Is that credible enough? Since I don't cite sources. That's what they said. I don't cite sources. Yeah. WeRSC. Let's start with this premise of Michigan, Notre Dame. Yeah, they're pretty much the same teams.
That's what they say.
During this year. I mean, that's how impressive what USC, how well USC's defense played this game compared to last year. And the defensive line, like you said, they owned the line of scrimmage. We talked about it. If you want to win that game, you got to win in the trenches. Michigan thought they were going to come in, they were going to punch USC in the mouth, they were going to fold. LSU thought the same thing to open the season last year. USC was willing to get into that street fight. They won it. I think between what happened in Illinois, having to sit in that own stinky juice for 2 weeks, listening to everybody say, you know what, those guys just aren't going to get it done. They can't get it done. Same old USC. So they were looking forward to that challenge. I mean, they literally picked up USC's offense for those because you had the turnover when Lake McCree fumbled the ball. USC's defense stepped up. And then after the interception, Bishop Fitzgerald had the interception later down the other side of the field. So, yeah, the defensive line was causing plenty of chaos. They had, 5 tackles for loss. You had 3 sacks. This is a defensive line that was going up against Michigan's O-line. I don't know if it's going to be equal to or maybe slightly lesser than Notre Dame's. Notre Dame, they have some issues as well. They just lost starting center. So if this defensive line that showed up Saturday in the Coliseum brings 90% of that to South Bend, because you're going to have some stuff going on, I'm going to feel pretty good. You can feel pretty damn good that they're giving their best effort. They're getting the job done. You stop Jeremiah Love, is it Jermaine, whatever his first name is. Love is the running back. He's really good. Make the freshman quarterback beat you. That was the same game plan you had against Michigan. Let's see if CJ Carr can play better than Bryce Underwood.
Huh?
Okay, Left. That's the first clip. What? I know what I'm doing. I got 12 years in this game. I know what I'm doing. You think they really thought I was going to have proof to set this up of what their people are saying and what their people think?
Yeah.
Let's see. Wait a minute. The internet still works, right?
Yeah, it works.
The internet still works, right?
It's
very easy to Google Bryce Underwood stats and very easy to Google CJ Carr stats. Is it not, Left?
You can compare.
Is it not? We can compare. Like, it's not hard. Let's make the freshman, first of all, let's compare. CJ Carr is a red shirt freshman. He's not a true freshman that was literally going to prom 7 months ago.
No, he went to something like not too long ago.
He is literally a red shirt freshman that has been under the tutelage of the same quarterback coach and offensive coordinator for 2 years.
2 years.
He knows the system. Bryce Underwood. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 1,210 yards. QBR of 71.7. He's thrown for over 250 yards one game against Wisconsin. One game.
Just one.
Against Wisconsin. Just one, Left. Just one. CJ Carr. 1,622 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, QBR of 83.6.
I don't see the comparison. I don't see it.
Now,
13-5 yards.
I agree. Yeah, go ahead. I agree, Left. I totally agree with the premise. Stop the run game and make CJ Carr beat you. Let me ask you a question, Left. Do you consider Miami a top defense, top 2, 3 in the nation?
That's what they're saying.
Who has the most passing yards against that Miami defense?
CJ Carr.
Yep. So we've already set the foundation. If they don't believe, it's not too much difference. Like, make him prove he's better than Bryce Underwood. What? What? The guy was 15 or 24 for 207 yards?
Bryce ain't crossed over to that plane yet. He don't know what it feels like to just on average throwing for 200 plus yards a game. He don't have that luxury yet. He hasn't seen the touchdown enough yet. If anything, CJ is in a league of his own right now, but it's accommodated by some of the best run game in the country, a great receiving core, and a good defense.
Left. Okay, let's move on. Because I'm ready to get to Chris Ash. But before we get to Chris Ash, they furthered the conversation. All right, shut down the running backs. Jermaine Love, whatever his name is. Every week, somebody's messing up our running backs' names. Every week. He got it right first, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah,
he got it right first.
It's a play on words somehow.
Every word is a play on words with our running backs, right? So once again, courtesy of We Are SC. Let's hear, Left.
Mistakes you can make based on kind of formations and who's doing what and all that sort of stuff. But it's very obvious. Like you started to see it at Illinois. Oh, there's a play. There's a play. It wasn't 100% perfect. In Michigan, there were more. There's a play. There's a play. Like he had a series with back to back, or I guess it was he had a tackle and then a nice like open field on Bryce Underwood tackle on third down. And then Jay Walker just play. I mean, that dude plays like his whole uniform's on fire. Like he is running around and hitting people. Again, there was something that, kind of a misstep and got on the wrong side of a guy and opened it up a little bit. You're going to have those things. But I think against Notre Dame, that's another team where you're probably going to see more three linebacker look. Even though I think I think CJ Cron can throw it a little bit better, but
yeah,
I don't think he's a massive upgrade. And you still have.
That's enough. He can throw it a little bit better.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. He's not a massive upgrade over Bryce Underwood. Just a little bit better.
I mean, they must not. They're just not watching football. They're not watching.
He can throw it just a little bit better.
They talk like a QB camp. It's like our quarterback competition. Oh, they're neck and neck. Oh, the ball come out the same way. The ball same way 3 different times. I can't tell the difference.
And it's okay because when you cover 18, I've only watched 2 USC games. Only 2. I've only watched. My daughter's not there anymore. When she was there, she went to every game. I would get feedback. I would be locked in. She sang the national anthem one time. Majority of the time, she sang it for the basketball game. This is what I'm talking about. I just want to hear it again, Love.
Mistakes you can make based on kind of formations and who's doing what and all that sort of stuff. But it's very obvious. Like you started to see it at Illinois. Oh, there's a play. There's a play. It wasn't 100% perfect. In Michigan, there were more. There's a play. There's a play. Like he had a series with back to back, or I guess it was he had a tackle and then a nice like open field on Bryce Underwood tackle on third down. And then Jay Walker just play. I mean, that dude plays like his whole uniform's on fire. Like he is running around and hitting people. Again, there was something that, kind of a misstep and got on the wrong side of a guy and opened it up a little bit. You're going to have those things. But I think against Notre Dame, that's another team where you're probably going to see more three linebacker look. Even though I think I think CJ Cron can throw it a little bit better, but
yeah,
I don't think he's a massive upgrade. And you still have with Love and Price, like you still have the 2 running backs that you have to stop first because those guys can't be right. Those guys, if those guys go for 250, it doesn't matter what you do in the passing game. Like that, those are the 2 guys you need to stop first. Like there's a lot of.
Yeah, it's a lot of armchair quarterbacks out there. It's no different than the perspective that USC just has this superior offensive passing game to Notre Dame. And I think that's where they're basing their non-watching of Notre Dame football, is that they think that they're so superior in the passing threat, especially based on last year, that, Notre Dame must have eensy-weensy better passing offense this year, but it's still about the running game. And even with that, the running game gave them massive terrors, and their game plan last year was to try to stop the running game, and it didn't happen. So I don't see how they make any leaps and bounds in that area, aside from the fact that they're downplaying what is clearly on tape. It's one thing for us to come up here and talk about our potential, but what about what they've actually done in that department? And yeah, it may not be a Malachi Lemon where we have one standout individual, but
Makai. I don't want USC fans to get mad because you mispronounced his name.
Right.
Makai Leonard.
It's a shame that I did that because he played at Los Alamitos, which is down the street from me, and him and Malachi Nelson used to play together, and they were really good then. But even with that, it goes down to the fact of what USC has failed to realize is that this isn't the same offense that we've even put out there the last few years, where it's been a standard of stop the run and let the quarterback beat you. Well, this quarterback can beat you, especially if the run game is halfway decent, and we've seen that. And against Miami, like you said, he's had the most success throwing the football, and that was with a lot of criticism and critique from what we felt like we could have done. I mean, you take away – first of all, we did not even run in the same RPO stuff we did against Miami in this offense that we figured out thus far. So just from scheme and play calling alone, that's 2 picks you take away right there. Just because I know the next time we just not calling that. We haven't called it since then. So I think, provided a few things that he learned as a first-time starter, he'll have more success against this team, So I do think that even from a numbers comparison, 13-5, it's just a huge gap to say it's a teeny weeny bit better or a better opportunity. And we don't even run CJ how Michigan runs Bryce Underwood. They have him running out of the pocket and making plays, running the football. And CJ Carr is not like that at all. However, we got 3 or 4 running backs we can serve you that can run the football. So it goes back to these guys still are undervaluing the perspective that we're changing about ourselves, which is good because CJ might light them up for 4 touchdowns,
See, here's the thing, Left. Like I said, all this stuff it's on Google. You can search it. I don't watch everybody we play, but I go watch replays. I go to the stats. This wasn't even a difficult thing to figure out. One of the things they said towards the end was you shut down the run game, because if they run for 250, you're in trouble. You run for 250, you're in trouble. So, North Carolina State shut down the Notre Dame run game, Left. Notre Dame only ran for 143 yards at 3.7 yards per clip. Notre Dame put up 136-7, because CJ Carr was 19-31 for 342 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, like they missing a chunk of the game.
Bryce Underwood would never.
Hasn't
Wait.
even
As soon as the best running back in the nation got hurt Saturday, Bryce Underwood's game went south. Yeah. Immediately. Let's go back 2 games, because I talked about North Carolina State. The running back showed out. The running back showed out against Boise State, because when they hammered Arkansas on the road, Left, you would think Notre Dame, the running backs went crazy. That's what you would think, right?
You would think.
Running backs went crazy. At Arkansas, the running backs ran for 143 yards. The top 2 running backs, Left. 143. The same that they ran for against North Carolina State. The exact same. $27 carries, 143. In that game, CJ Carr was 22 of 30 for 354 and 4 touchdowns. Bryce Underwood would never, as of today. I'm not talking about what he will do. I'm talking about as of today.
Has never. And on top of that, he doesn't even have a receiving core to do that.
Accentuate that, Left, because Michigan's receiving core is putrid.
Yeah.
Absolutely sorry. Abysmal.
So once again, it goes to the haves and nots. Even if Bryce wanted to, he couldn't. Not right now. And if he was, it would be so much of a superhero effort and so far out of what they do anyway as an offense, it just wouldn't fit right now. However, CJ has all the tools in the tool shed. If you want to run and hammer down, we can do that. If you want to pin something up on the wall, decorate the floral, do what you want in the garden, we can do that. If you need to fix the roof, got that. Shingles, gutter, cleared out. Fix the bathtub, whatever you need is in the house of Notre Dame, and CJ is just, oh, we got that. We can do that. The DIY champion. Bryce Underwood has got to go to Home Depot every 5 minutes. Oh, I got to go buy a receiver. I got to go buy this bolt and screw. That's a hard thing. That's losing a lot of money. He can only do so much. However, over at the Notre Dame house, you get the pantries full. You know, when the pantry full and the refrigerator look nice, it's just something about it. We got the Oreos, the animal crackers, and the Teddy Grahams. I mean, it's you got options. Bryce just dealing with the wick. You know, you got your certain cereals you can get. You know, you got a couple of options in the fruit department. You know, where the pantry's full over here. So it's not so much of what Bryce can't do, is what does he have to do with one of those. Now, unless he's working miracles, he's at the wrong school. You need to come to Notre Dame. But other than that, he's got to do what he can to feed what he got over there. However, with CJ, I mean, it's ample. It's like golden buffet. 24 hours, different options. Stay as long as you want. Fill your hearts up.
And they're so, dude, my Twitter feed is hilarious. Notre Dame fans, just go to my Twitter feed, man. It's what they just, no one said that. You're lying. No one said that. Like they're scared that it gets out. If it gets out, oh no, we can't let that get out.
Because it's bulletin board material.
No, it's not. It's not. A media type said it. Oh, no, Marcus Freeman isn't pulling up We Are SC's video. Put that in the locker room on loop over and over again until it's kickoff. Like, what are you scared of? We literally grabbed it because it connected to what we talked about in narratives going into this game. Narratives about USC, narratives about Notre Dame, and instead of looking at the facts of what exists, people want to go off of what they think these teams are, what they think Notre Dame is, what they think USC is. Instead of just looking at the facts, looking at the stats, and making objective thoughts and speaking objective thoughts that link to the facts. They can't, because there is no way anyone could say what we just played and mean it from the depths of their heart if they honestly took the time to watch both quarterbacks and go to the stats.
That's it.
That's it. It's as simple as that.
They don't want the facts. They want the feels. They want to feel coming to Notre Dame, and that's cool.
If that's the way he feels, or that's the way they feel,
just don't listen if you want to put your money on it. Though I wouldn't take it for betting advice, gambling advice, a sport debate, because it's just not objective enough. But it's fine because that's what you want. You want the rose-colored glasses to be over you. The veil of, oh, this is just a running team. They might as well go back to triple option. Either way, you can't stop it. However, this time, we just got a little flavor. You know, we just added a little sauce to it. Yeah, it's still the chicken combo, but hey, but this time you got a little chimichurri sauce, little adobo ranch on it, just for you. Is it the same? Yes, but does it taste a little different? Absolutely. So don't set your taste buds to one thing and then come for another, because then your review is gonna be different. It's gonna come off as a hater. Oh, it's not what I expected. No, it's not. It gives you a sour taste when it's not what you expect. That's all we're gonna do. Just give them a sour taste. They're gonna be like, oh, we held them to 150, but CJ had 400 yards.
It's crazy, bro.
Would y'all feel good about it? Would that is that the we'll go across the field and shake your hand if you can do that? Because we can do that. We've been doing that. That's how we've won some of these games, by choice, but it's there.
You know what else stood out before we get to Chris Ash? One of the individuals, or one of the gentlemen, was trying to make the point that the game really didn't change because of the injury to the number one running back in the nation. Didn't change. And honestly, from watching the game early, I don't think the outcome would have changed at all if Justice Haynes didn't get hurt. Totally agree. But he slips up and says, yeah, before he got injured, he was averaging 5 yards a pop. And I was like, what? So he was getting busy before he got injured?
5 yards a pop is halfway to a first down.
Do you really feel confident as the 104th ranked rush defense that you can allow Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price to get 5 yards a pop and win this game? It was almost like a flex. Oh, Justice Haynes went out, but didn't make much of a difference. If he stayed in, we probably still would have won. He was only averaging 5 yards a pop early in the game. Oh, word.
Mix that with 300 yards throwing the football.
Word. Okay.
Mix that with 3-4 touchdowns coming in the air. Mix in some of that.
See, on this particular show, we're going to tell you we love the safeties, the NFL safeties that USC has. Love them. We love Eric Gentry and what he does everywhere on the field. He's a game breaker. We absolutely love Left. Jacoby Lane that's your youngster.
That's my guy, man. Grew up with him since he was a young one.
That's your youngster. Mekhi Lemon, he's a dude. Tanuk Hines, when they lost Tanuk Hines to USC, I was livid. That's the one kid I wanted in the 25 class at wide receiver. Upside is crazy. This King Miller kid, are you kidding me? A walk-on, getting busy the way he gets, dude. I love Elijah Page. When he was committed to Notre Dame, even when he left, I'm like, that's a big loss because he's going to be a dude.
Yeah, Elijah Page.
Like, I don't have to sit up here and try to minimize in order to say, I still think Notre Dame is going to win. I still think Notre Dame is the better team. I don't have to sit up and say, look. Mekhi Lemon in the slot, he's not a massive upgrade over Will Pauling left. He's not a massive upgrade over Will Pauling.
No, of course not.
Nah, Will Pauling has been getting busy the last 2 games. I mean, not a massive upgrade. We don't have to do that. We can show love We can show love and appreciate talented players on both sides. We can appreciate one of the best play callers in all of college football. We spent a full segment yesterday talking about the screen game and how they set it up from different motions and different formations, how beautiful it is, and how the offensive line of USC sells it 10 times better than most offensive lines. We did that. We did all of that. And still think Notre Dame is going to win the game. So it's absolutely crazy for someone to think, not fact check, and then utter that CJ Carr is just a little bit better than Bryce Underwood and is not a massive upgrade. Because I've heard Lincoln Riley speak highly of him. I've heard other media sources on the USC side speak highly of him. Unfortunately, on We Are SC, they didn't choose that angle. And it goes to what we said. It's a lot of narratives out there that go back to they think Notre Dame's offense is still Riley Leonard led with a minimal passing game. That's what they think, Left. In order to make that statement, they have to be thinking, as they said in the beginning of the clip, last year. They have to be thinking about last year's Notre Dame offense. Last year's offense put up 35. We had 2 pick sixes, had 49 on the scoreboard. The offense put up 35. So in their minds, their running backs broke off some big plays last year. So as long as we don't allow that to happen this year, we're fine.
We're fine.
Their quarterback is only a little bit better than Bryce Underwood. And it's not really a massive upgrade. That's what they said.
Right.
That's what they said. So don't get mad at me because I mentioned it. Don't get mad at me. Go hit your people up. Let them know. I think you made a mistake.
Yeah, I think you made a mistake.
Maybe you didn't mean it. Maybe you didn't mean to say it like that. What you really meant was fill in the blank, whatever it is, other than what they said.
Right.
It is what it is. Lucky Lefty podcast. Go to FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app. We are presented by FanDuel. 61.5 is the over-under total. 61.5. And for a quarterback that's just a little bit better than Bryce Underwood, the over-under for passing yards for that quarterback that's just a little bit better than Bryce Underwood is at 285 and a half. Wow. Vegas, I don't know what Vegas is thinking to put that number at 285 and a half. Is that saying that CJ Carr is that good? Or are they saying the pass defense for USC is not really good enough? What are they saying? Because Vegas usually knows. Vegas usually knows.
Vegas knows.
For that quarterback, that's just a little bit better than Bryce Underwood. You can go to FanDuel, download the FanDuel app.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit better. He's just a little bit better than Bryce Underwood. That's all. Not much of a, not a massive upgrade.
Not enough to,
No, he's a little tiny little bit. Little itty bitty upgrade. Not a massive upgrade. No big difference. Okay. Have fun with that one. Super chat. 6 Iron Chunk King. Hey, 6 Iron, is that your favorite club to swing? My favorite club is I love hitting pitch and 7-iron. Those are my two favorite clubs to swing. Just joined the Patreon, catching up on Prep Stars. I'm fiending for the best episode. I got the next episode coming to you, dropping on Friday with all of the big time recruits coming in. As I said before, this weekend is going to be even more massive than the Texas A&M weekend, especially in terms of the 2027 class. The who's who at just about every position will be on campus. Okay. The who's who left. The who's who. 6-iron Chunk King said his 6-iron and his 3-wood, the go-to. That 3-wood is scary for your boy, 6-iron. I'm a little scared. But thank you for the double super chat, though. We appreciate it. Our boy, Joe773 Batters. GTB question. What are the chances of ND getting Penn State running back decommit? Come on, spell. Well, he'll be on campus on Saturday, but go ahead, Lefty. You want to chime in on that one?
He'll be there. Look, we just looking to collect on our chips, man. That's all this weekend is about.
Yeah. Collect on our chips. The most important thing is the game. Like, I'm excited to really get feedback from the kids on the visit, what they thought. Man, despite the loss, the Texas A&M weekend really made an impact.
Yeah.
I think coming out of that weekend, and some people from that weekend are coming back for visits again. I think 4 kids that were at the Texas A&M game are coming back, and they're not local kids. These are not like Chicago area kids. These are like other states. Absolutely, other states. We got the number 1 offensive lineman from Colorado coming in. Notre Dame they're doing their thing. And to have a huge recruiting weekend like this with Chad Bowden back in the building. Yeah.
Getting shown how it's done, what he left.
he thought he took it with him.
Yeah, he thought yeah. Come on, Chad.
There's no shot that
you done paid some of Chad's little NIL deal over there with your tuition.
You still try to allocate my money? I'm not paying tuition anymore, bro.
You paid his first quarter,
I stopped
tuition check. You a part of the problem, SD.
Now you're blaming me.
You're blaming me.
You only went because they said, SD putting some extra little sauce on it for you. Extra couple $100. Ow. He said, I must go. Well, that's okay.
Oh, man. Lucky Lefty podcast.
I wanted to ask you, if Marcus Freeman was asked $150 million for 10 years.
Are you trying to bring up the rumors? Are you going in that direction?
Every coaching job, he just happens to. What is his agent doing?
Okay, let me ask you a fair question. Let me ask you a fair question. They're gonna
start asking for movie roles next.
If you were the athletic director at Penn State, would you call Marcus Freeman's agent? Be honest.
Coaching right now.
Don't speak. What does that mean? Penn State. Let's be honest. The Penn State AD is hoping that USC wins. Notre Dame misses the playoffs. The recruiting class falls apart, and Marcus Freeman wants to leave. That's what he's hoping and praying.
150 M's. He should consider
150 M's.
You should consider it.
So you're saying he should think about it?
$150 million, even if it's 5 or 10 years. They probably gonna do 10, which is 15 a year. Sheesh. What are you doing, SD? Are you taking if SD is coaching Notre Dame football, and he get a call from good old down there in Pennsylvania, say, SD, I know you got it rocking over there on the verge of potential, all of that. But I
all
got
money ain't good money.
15 million for 10. What you think?
I'll give you 3 reasons why it would not to go to that school. I'll give you 3 reasons why.
For 10, SD. You get
All
a whiteout
money.
every game.
That means nothing to me.
50, and then the buyout, we're gonna sweeten it up. Buyout $100 million.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
25 up front.
Let me ask you a question. Who's my quarterback next year?
With $150 million, go find one. Just go find one.
Nah. Oh, so you want me to bring in a new quarterback with a new staff and a new system in the Big Ten?
You can bring what you need.
I'm already behind Indiana. I'm already behind Oregon. I'm already behind Ohio State.
Indiana's a coach away from falling apart.
Indiana's coach might end up in Penn State.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm saying if he leaves, wherever he leaves, Indiana will go right back to what they were.
Well, we're talking about the current landscape today. That's what we're talking about. The current landscape. You're asking
15 million SD. I'm over here. I'm the AD at Penn State. 15 a year.
Nope. Not from that school. Not from that school. Nope. I
don't understand, SD.
Nope.
What would you? We're not even asking for a national championship every year.
Then why would he leave? What are we doing?
What do you mean?
What are you coaching for if you're not trying to win a championship?
I'm sorry. 15 million.
You got to be better.
150 for 10 years.
You have to be better.
What?
You have to be better, man. You have to be better.
You telling me you couldn't find a way to be better?
Do you know how many coaches Brett Bielema chased the money, left Wisconsin, where he was literally winning Big Ten championships and was the king, left Wisconsin to go get money in the SEC.
Okay.
And what happened?
He had $100 million to fall on his face.
And he
took the 100, put it under his blanket, and went and got some more from Illinois. So what are we talking about? 150 million SD. See,
that's why you love LeBron. You like losing. You like cats that's okay with losing. Now I understand. It explains a lot. GTP, 1 free round at Augusta or free rounds for life at your home course.
99% of people are LeBron. Then. Come on.
GTB, that's easy. 1 free round at Augusta. 1 free round at Augusta is everything, bro. Everything. The Andretti says 20 to 25 million a year. He would consider it.
I mean, SD, what are we talking about? Okay, 20 million for 5. No, 20 for 5 years. So what's that? Yeah, that's 100 million. Okay, let's say SD, you telling me you wouldn't take the job though? Brian Kelly took 100.
Yep. How is that working out for him?
He beat Saban. He got a Heisman. 2 first-round receivers, a potential first-round quarterback.
Yep. Everything except for winning.
Did he? I mean, they ranked still.
Boy. I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed. Now I understand why you love old boy so much.
I'm just saying that's too sweet of a deal, SD. Come on now. Come on, SD. That's too sweet. You just had
the
buyout because in $100 million buyout.
Man, let's get to Chris Ash, man. We're talking foolishness right now. And
Okay.
yeah, dude, you over there trying to give the clutch narratives right now. And
Clutch narrative. I'm just saying.
Defensive coordinator Chris Ash, we talked about it. If there was ever a time to receive a reprieve or to change the perception of a fan base in the middle of a season, after plenty of skepticism, even in the midst of this defense turning things around over the last 3 games left, holding 3 opponents under 10 points, the fan base is still not fully sold on defensive coordinator Chris Ash. Halfway through his first season. Transition period, objectively, new players in leadership positions, objectively, there was a lot that they had to filter through. But it seems like they finally figured things out. Chris Ash met with the media and he shared how they were able to get things back together.
Probably our consistency. We're playing more consistent together as a unit. And obviously, we're eliminating some explosive plays that we had given up, in a couple of those games early on. But the guys just show up to work every single day. They know what they have to do to improve. They know what we have to do to improve. And to their credit, they've gone out and worked hard to try to make that happen.
And then what just allowed you to kind of keep pushing them despite maybe some frustrating results to start the year?
That's the job. That's what we do. That's why you're a coach. That's why they're players, and we just continue to show up every single day and work on the things that we've got to work on, and that's what we've done.
And then did you have to adjust to anything personally, college-wise, whether it was game prep? How do you kind of make adjustments during the game, just getting back to college?
No, I've been doing this a while.
What were the steps you took to improve that consistency with them?
Just we stayed consistent. We didn't change anything. There was nothing magical to what we had to do or what we did. We just had to continue to keep working. We had to keep meeting, keep walking through, keep practicing, keep reviewing, stack days after days after days, and that's really what it is. It's just called work, and that's what we had to do.
Yeah, he's going to give the good professional from a, well-classed organization answer in Jacksonville that, is what you get paid the big bucks to do. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, he, if anything, he didn't change it much, but just became more of less. He didn't stop calling every coverage every drive. So he still got the same players. As long as you don't call every coverage every drive, he probably figured less is more, and let's stay consistent on what we're good at, like most good coaches attempt and do successfully. And you also riding on a foundation that's pretty sturdy, so it's not like you gotta drive it too much. You just got to put it back on autopilot. You thought you could hit it manual, drift on, do some drifting. No, just put that thing back on autopilot, correct it a little bit when you need to, and then it can go a long way for you.
Honestly, I'm not mad at his answer. I told you from the first couple of press conferences, he reminded me of how Al Golden dealt. He's not going to give you a lot. He's not. He's going to stick to the bulletin, the basic bullet points that you answer with. That's what he's going to do. So for him to say we just really just put in more work, I didn't expect anything more. I mean, it's factual because you do have to put in the work. Even if you make changes, there's still work that goes with the changes.
That's right.
So I guess he told the truth. He just didn't give you anything a little bit more in depth. We are about to have a ball right here because we are about to dig in a little bit deeper on this matchup. Prime time Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Notre Dame over at FanDuel.com. We are presented by FanDuel. They are a 9.5-point favorite. And we are pleased to welcome in big brother of the program, the Big Ten Network's own Howard Griffith joins us right now to talk Notre Dame,
Yes, sir.
What's up,
USC.
fellas?
Yes,
But
sir.
you have to left ask Howard that question because Howard might have a different take. Ask him. Ask
Here
him.
we go.
Oh, $150 million question.
Yes, ask him the $150 million question.
If Penn State was like, you know
Stop
what?
it. Stop it. Stop it. That couldn't have been the $150 million question.
Absolutely. Penn State call over and say, hey, Marcus Freeman, $15 million a year, 10 years. What you think? What you think? Whatever you want, roll out the red carpet for you.
Nah, it's okay. No.
He shouldn't consider it.
Mark has been in this game long enough to know it. And I'll tell you this. I think the days of these 10-year contracts, these long-term contracts, are getting ready to be bye-bye. Because this right now, and what we're involved in now in college athletics, it's a year-to-year thing. And I'm not saying that their contracts are going to be year-to-year, but I'm saying that the whole 10 years, let's build a program, let's do this. Nah, I think those days are gone. I think the way just the way athletics is working right now, how quickly athletic departments want to turn the fortunes of their program around. They believe that they can go out and get better and they can find somebody else that's going to come in and be able to change the fortunes of a particular program. Now, let me say this, though. I think at the elite programs or the programs that are just below, that are right there. And I would say Penn State is a rung below. They're not there yet. Yes, historically they've accomplished a lot of things, but that's not a program right now that's built to go out and you expect them to be competing for the national championship each and every year. And part of that is not because they're not doing the job that they can, but Ohio State, Oregon, SC is starting to get things turned around. Oh, by the way, Indiana doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. So there are a lot of other teams that are in position. I think that you still have to go through if you ultimately want to win a championship in the Big Ten Conference. But no, $15 million. I think. Listen, it's obviously a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money, and I think people will consider it. But I think ultimately, Marcus is in a great position right now. Got things rolling, and I don't think he'll be looking to change the shirts and sweatpants that he's wearing right now, roaming the sidelines in South Bend.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, you said, bro, I just want to say, you said the exact same thing I said. I just want to show him that it was far-fetched what he was saying, and great minds think alike. It must be the Illinois education. It must be the Illinois education.
You know what? I'll tell you this. Now, should Penn State call his people? Absolutely. You better call everybody. They're in a position where you start at the top of the list and see who's going to say no of the wish list of people. And I'm sure he would be on that list of people that they would want to talk to.
All right. We were talking about this game, right? And we did a full show yesterday. Mm-hmm. And we feel like this game is actually going to be a really good product because it's going to be different. Because there are a lot of people looking at this game from a perception rather than taking a look at the facts, right?
Okay.
Perception would tell you USC is soft. All they want to do is throw the ball over the field. Man, that's what Lincoln Riley. They want to be flashy. Lincoln Riley has lost his fastball. Then you look at the stats, and they're third in the nation at yards per rush at 6.4, and then they're 13th in the nation at 226 on the ground per game.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Right. Then you look on the other side, and the perception is, Notre Dame's just like Michigan. You see how USC did against Michigan? Notre Dame wants to do the same thing. They just want to come in, bully you, push you around, run the ball with their 2 running backs. And if you shut down the running backs, you're fine. But they got this quarterback that almost had 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. But see, you get caught up in the perception of what teams were, and you think that applies to this year's game. And if you really don't look at the facts that have been placed before you on the field and in the stat sheets, you'll miss that this could really be a totally different type of and a different entertaining game in this rivalry than we're used to.
Yeah, I'd say this. I said if you listen to Lincoln Riley, particularly after last week's game versus Michigan, he wanted to use the word physical and being able to control the line of scrimmage because he knows that that's the perception that's out there. And he knows that going into that Michigan game, it was believed that Michigan was going to be able to push those guys around and really have their way with them on the ground and play their game. But I think one of the things that has happened is you're absolutely right. They can run the football and they might be down to running back number 4 by now, depending upon what the health looks like of those guys. But those guys can play and get it done. They just have to stay with the run. And I think if there's any criticism of Lincoln Riley, it's been he's gotten away from it at times. And at times he needed to stay with it. And you watched him do that, particularly last week. So if he can get that formula and stay with it and not think he has to throw it all over the field, because he can do that too now. He can do that too. But I think at the end of the day, you also is getting to that time of the year where you need to salt that clock away and have that 4-minute offense out there because you don't want to give – listen, I know they've gotten so much better on the defensive side. And you saw SC's D-line really show up last week and make a lot of plays for them, and negative plays. But this is still a Notre Dame team that can scar you quickly through the air, or if a safety doesn't feel the right gap, they're going to have some problems. That still has not changed. So they have to stay consistent and be diligent on the defensive side, assignment sound, if they want to slow this team down, because I still think Notre Dame is still going to come out and try to push them around and see if they're really up to the task. If the video from last week wasn't a lie, so it's going to be an outstanding matchup. I like it. The quarterback's playing really well for SC, and Lemon that dude is. I think you got 2 really explosive wide receivers on both sides of the ball. That I don't know if either program has a guy that's going to necessarily be able to slow him down, at least not on a one-on-one type situation. They can get after it, and it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's a low-scoring game, but if it's a high-scoring game, that's all right with me too. No, that's not all right with me too, because that means the game's going to go longer, and I'm going to be in studio much later. So no, give me one of them grinded-out games, please.
Now, how much of the weather, because, let's say just the mindset, good matchup, weather's definitely, or how much do you consider weather being a factor in just the way the game can go? With USC running the ball well, Notre Dame running the ball well, it's going to rain. Do you think that's going to play a factor into, like you said, it may be a sluggish, low-scoring game?
Yeah, I think it could play a factor. You're not going to be able to just be able to throw the ball all over the park, as when the rain is coming down. You're still going to have – there are going to be times where you got to make the plays, but I don't know if you can if you want to throw it around 40 times, I don't know if that's going to be a recipe for success when you look at the weather. But I would say this. One thing that was really interesting that I really like to see, like what USC did, was, a few weeks going back, when they had to go to Purdue and they had the rainstorm and the delay that was 3 hours. I was really impressed with the way they were able to handle that. Not because Purdue's a bad football team, because I think Purdue, it's just a matter of time. Coach Oden's got that thing rolling over there a little bit. And when he gets some more players, they're gonna be a problem. And they're gonna sneak up on some people this year if people aren't careful and they don't, you turn the ball over against them. But I like what they're doing. So SC has proven that they can weather the storm in bad weather. They've proven that, but they're still trying to prove that they can be as physical and dominant up front. And I know the numbers, what they say, and what perception is sometimes, but they need to be able to do it in this particular game, right? You need to keep doing it, right? If you're trying to, this is a team. I mean, we haven't necessarily put them into the college football playoffs yet, but they win this game, that gives them an opportunity, right? They're in the mix. So they want to come out and play the best game possible, and I think that game is them on the ground really trying to control it that way.
Now, you talk about them controlling the game on the ground, because I said it, man. Look, I'm interested in getting your thoughts on this. Mekhi Lemon, because of the way they build, it's very rare that you see a team with multiple pass catchers build their passing game around a guy, the way they structure their passing game around Mekhi Lemon. I think he gets up to like 40% of the targets. It's something crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so when I look at the stats, he reminds me, you and I being in Chicago, he reminds me of Michael Jordan. He's going to get his numbers. They don't even go into the game like, how are we going to stop? No, he's going there because they find ways, screen game, motion,
you get his
stack. They're going to get him the ball. They're going to find a way to get, because they know he helps us win games. The difference is Michigan, they averaged 8.7 yards on the ground when he got his catches. Illinois, they only averaged 3.7 on the ground. He got his catch. One ended up in a loss, the other ended up in a victory. It's clear to me, and look, I love Wayman Jordan, bro. This dude before the injury, hate seeing him get injured against Michigan. Very impressed watching him in the Illinois games. Like, he's going to be a problem. That's a big miss. But then King Miller comes in, pops 180, and you're like, oh man,
they're deep.
Yeah,
they are deep,
absolutely.
And that really speaks to what they've been able to do over there recruiting wise. And I know they've taken a lot of flack, on the recruiting trail. Whether it's because Chad is starting to turn things up, who I know you guys know well, but a lot of people, for these SC fans, they want it now, but they're also looking toward the future and what they have committed to them right now. But when you talk about just having sheer athletes, I was in Champaign when SC came to Champaign, and boy, that's a pretty looking team now.
Well, SC, they got the streamer towels. They look real clean and fancy.
Bro, them cats, man, when they get off the bus, they look good. They slide in them uniforms, they look good at every position. They're long, you talk about corners and safeties and receivers and tight ends. I mean, they're just long. You look at the guys on the line, they're thick, lower body, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. But as Illinois figured out, and some other teams have figured out, you just have to stay the course. You can't turn the football over. Although Illinois did, you don't want to turn the football over and get this team a short field. You want to make them go to long, take the long, and force them into some bad turnovers, force them to go the long distance, put some of those 10, 12, 13 play drives together to try to get some points. Is the way to beat this team, and in that way, but you can't give up the big explosive plays downfield, because they got the guys that can go get it, and they got a quarterback. If he's unrattled and he's comfortable in the pocket, it's going to be a long night.
It's interesting because, Lev, I'm glad you asked that question, because it's forecast 70% rain, right around 58 degrees.
Yeah.
So the elements could play a part. Is it different? You've been in rooms with Hall of Fame running backs. You played on some of the greatest teams in college football, Big Ten, and the NFL. To be the third guy and to come in spots and perform is one thing. To be the guy that now has to carry the load on the road in Notre Dame Stadium, prime time. I love the way the kid is built. He looks like he carries himself with a lot of confidence, but it has to be different.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Hey, anybody get fired up knowing you probably know the plays that you're gonna get, or you get fired up about that. I mean, you know. But it's a different mental approach. I think having the expectations of your teammates on you at that particular point, because it's like, hey man, you the dude, let's go. We got to get it done. Can't be a drop off. Can't be this. Can't be that. Couple that with going on the road and playing in Notre Dame Stadium, you're gonna have some moments, right? And prime time, and you start thinking about the moment getting too big. You've got to be able to answer the call. But the reality is, I mean, if you go to SC, you go to Notre Dame, these are the type of games you want to play in. This is part of it. And if they can hold course and be able to do what he needs to do, we'll see. I mean, everybody else has to contribute. But I think one of the things that happens sometimes when you get guys that all of a sudden become the starter, they forget that it's not all on them, and they try to do too much and stay inside the game and stay inside your assignment and understand what you're being asked to do and not try to do too much. If you gotta take it for a loss, you take it for a loss, but you can't put the ball in harm's way trying to get out of a play that really ain't wasn't no way for you to get out of. So take the loss and live to play another down.
For me, the biggest thing that I'll be watching with this true freshman is when you come in, you're probably getting the rock.
Yeah.
What's that pass pro like? What's that pass pro like? You know what I'm saying? Because
they'll be tested. Oh, you better believe
yeah,
they're gonna be tested.
Yeah.
Oh, big moments and things, big third downs.
Yeah, and that's what I think. A lot of times, you talk about carrying the ball and being able to do that, and that's an excellent point. Man, that's the other thing about going on the road, and I watch this stuff, and I'm bringing up Ohio State for a reason, only because they got so many guys that come from so many different directions, positions, and you got safeties that could be a linebacker, and you got a safety who will mess around and put his hand in the ground, and a linebacker that all of a sudden be dropping into coverage. From an offensive standpoint, you're trying to identify people. And sometimes your center is pointing to a guy that the body type doesn't say he's a middle linebacker, or he's a will linebacker, or he's the safety. And so there's how you need to process that information. And it only takes a split second. And all you need to be is late. Or you see a lot of it happening now where the delayed blitz is wearing running backs out right now. Backs are looking and they're like, dude, you're the fourth in the progression. Where you going? There's no reason for you to be in a hurry. If the ball's coming to you, you got bigger problems. Them other three guys, they can get their job done. But you got to be able to keep the quarterback upright. And that means sometimes, you got to be slow to go as a back because you need to make sure that you can hold up in protection, because the last thing you want to do is be on the road and all of a sudden now you're giving up a sack, quarterback gets blindside, balls out, scoop and score. Then we got real problems. So, that's kind of the other side of it. Yeah, you're getting the ball, but you better be prepared because, I know you were looking at these cards all week and, you're going against the scout team, and the scout team safety was just kind of doing his thing because he ready to get out of there too. And, just do what's on the card, man. You better anticipate where these guys can go and what their path to the quarterback can be. So, yeah, you got to be on top of your game, being in the backfield, particularly, against Notre Dame, because they'll bring them from everywhere.
Once again, Howard Griffith, Big Ten Network right here. Let's talk a little bit more about this game and then talk a little more about the landscape of the Big Ten, right? Because financial considerations and issues going on, USC, the Big Ten, how things are going to look moving forward. That's in the news. But to close this one out, Notre Dame comes into this game, it's all or nothing. Like this is the season. Like this, if they get through this, the rest of the schedule looks pretty much like a cakewalk, without being disrespectful, to get back to winning another 10 straight and gaining another berth in the college football playoff. After a rough start to the season. Now on the flip side, when you talk about USC, this game, you know what? I believe this. Nothing would please Lincoln Riley more than to sneak into Notre Dame Stadium, get a win, and then end the rivalry. I think that would be perfect for him.
It
The
is
way
with the
he's been
David
talking
Shaw.
about the
It is with
rivalry.
the David
Oh, yeah.
Shaw.
Whoa, man. The David Shaw, right. Walk off
Yeah.
the field smirking and like, this is my last season, but I got
we
Notre
done.
Dame.
We ain't coming back
I
here.
got that's right.
Yeah, we ain't coming back here. It's over with. Yeah.
Lincoln Riley would love nothing more. However, with that being said, USC, if they lose, they still have their eyesight set on the Big Ten championship game and possibly still getting to the playoff with 2 losses. I mean, they have Oregon left. That's going to be an exciting game because now who is Oregon? We don't know after watching them get bullied by Indiana.
Yeah.
Who do you think? I guess I know it probably means more for Notre Dame on Saturday, but who do you think is going to have the more motivation in this matchup? Or will it matter? Will it not matter because it's a rivalry?
Well, I think the rivalry, I think it's got to matter because it's a rivalry, or it's going to matter. I'll say this, and I think I've said this to you guys before. One of the things I've always admired about the Notre Dame program is that it's always, and up until now, right, to the 12-team playoffs, really, but it's always been built on we can't afford to lose games, period. Everything is all or nothing. We can't afford to leave it to somebody else, right? And I get it. Other places, everybody wants to try to win a national championship. But when you look at the path with no championship game, not being a part of the conference, it's huge. And just to be under that type of pressure each and every week, to me, speaks volumes. And whether you need to do that, that's a different discussion. But that's what it is when you're playing for Notre Dame. And so this game means everything because it obviously puts them back in position to get one of those berths. I think this game is significant too to SC because they're still trying to prove that they're back or they've arrived. And if they can go on the road and get a win, then that all of a sudden signals that not only that, but it sets them up where they're still in position to try to make a run for the 12-team playoffs. Now they still got work to do, but if you drop this game to Notre Dame, that work all of a sudden became a lot harder. So when you start to look at it, Notre Dame just goes out and plays each and every week. It doesn't matter. You can write them off early, and then all of a sudden you're looking and you're like, oh, they're right back in the middle of things. Look at the schedule. Look at this. So both teams are playing for a lot, and I think obviously it means a bunch to a lot to both programs. But I think the pressure is on SC and what they're trying to do, and all the side notes. I mean, the side stuff, whether it's Chad and and what he's doing now, what he said, about Notre Dame and those type of things, and all of that stuff is going to be swirling. But ultimately, it comes down to being able to execute on the field, and we're going to find out. And hopefully, it's a great game.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a great game. So now we segue to the business side that kind of flows from this rivalry because I think, what's going on now with SC and the Big Ten in the news. I think Notre Dame sits back and says, yep, that's why we mind our own business. That's why we're cool over here fiscally. Like, you go ahead and fight for your dollars in the midst of a conference. And now we're starting to see, not just in the Big Ten, but the SEC, as more money comes into play, that while it was very accommodating when it came to sharing revenue, now these teams that have been the flag bearers and the carriers of the conference for the most part are like, hey, I don't know about this equal, especially if we're going to be the ones going to the playoffs, getting the extra money for everybody every year. So that to me, and I don't know if USC really has leverage right now to be talking business. But how do you think this is going to play out eventually?
Look, I think we're still a long ways. I know, the money is on the table. It's $2 billion, and it's out there, and they're talking about it. And there's pushback by, I think Michigan is also a part of that because people want to know what's this ultimately going to mean down the road? What's going to happen to TV deals down the road? And I would say I think TV is involved as much as these schools are involved in the economics of it, obviously, and what they do with this private equity. I think because we're getting to a point, if we haven't reached it already, when you talk about these conferences with 18 teams, and you still, at some point, the people that are putting on the product want to make money, want to make more money, I should say. And so that's why we started out, we were talking about, 10 years, $15 million in these types of contracts. I just think that the way business is being done right now at the college level, it looks professional to me. And, I think we're going to start to take on a lot more of the characteristics and the business practices that we may see in the NFL, or whether you see it in the NBA, or wherever some of these ideas ultimately come from. Because I just think you just think about what essentially Penn State has done by 50 plus million, that they're saying, okay, we need you to go. Here's 50 some million. Obviously, they wanted, there's some mitigation there, and he goes and works some offset and different things like that. But when you start to think about who the next coach, okay, say it is, they do throw another 10-year deal out there, and it's going to be 10 million plus is where it's going to be because of what the expectations are. I just think that everyone's looking for revenue. And I think we may have reached a point where you have all the cord cutting happening. You also, for the Big Ten Conference, really doesn't want to get into alcohol advertisements, which is, you can make a gazillion dollars from there.
Professional sports is.
Yeah, but they can make a ton of money from that side of it. Gambling is still out there, right?
Why is alcohol? Why is alcohol so taboo when you sell it? Notre Dame just started selling alcohol in the stadium. So is it something from the business side that makes it taboo? I'm sorry.
No. I would say this from the Big Ten Conference side, and this really has to do more with the deal that Jim Delaney cut. However, it's been 18, 19 years ago that wasn't what the Big Ten Conference was going to be a part of. We're not going to have alcohol sales. Now, we are light years away from that, literally from that position and what college football looked like then. It is a whole new world, and I think institutions are looking for more revenue. I mean, I think that's just the reality of it. And you see organizations now where they may have been more against alcohol sales in their stadiums or on their properties, have all of a sudden made the decision that that's where we need to go. We just also need to be able to put money behind a campaign of, what alcohol abuse and drinking and driving, that sort of thing. So I tell you, man, it's really crazy to think just where college athletics is right now. And it's not done changing. And the expectations of programs, the expectations of fan bases have reached a point now where the fans feel like I can do and say whatever because these student athletes are now being compensated. And say what you will. I mean, this is where we are right now. And now they got to figure out how to manage this whole thing. And I just don't know that we're going to continue to see the salaries escalate the way they are when they're just fully guaranteed for these coaches. Because I think you're seeing it.
But how much can the structure change too if you can't trade or fire or cut a player because they're students? It's like how much can you really get into it?
I would say this. 3-4 years ago, we wouldn't have said that the guys were going to be making, $5-6 million necessarily. They might have been getting a car deal. They might have been doing this, but some of the money that's being made is crazy. And I'm happy that they're making it. But I just think we're getting to a point where things are changing so quickly. They're changing so fast. And this is why, to me, this whole James Franklin thing is so interesting. And less than 20 days ago, this dude was a top 5 team. He was a head coach of a top 3 team or top 5 team in the country. Loses to Oregon, and everything just goes to hell in a handbasket. And now he's not coaching. That, to me, that kind of tells you that's a sign. It doesn't necessarily tell you. It's a sign of what programs are thinking and
See,
what people inside them are thinking.
we skipping over the Deshaun Foster fire. Like we
No,
ain't gonna skip over that one. That
yeah,
was the
no.
most disrespectful of all. James Franklin, we get you, but
Well,
step
I
to
will
the
tell you
side.
this.
Deshaun
I'll
Foster.
tell you this. I'll tell you this. Deshaun Foster was he may have been in one of the worst positions ever. But when he was at, it's just you talk about hard ever. Because he had to take over a program when the coach decided, and Chip Kelly, that, you know what, I don't want to be head coach anymore. I'm gonna go somewhere and be an offense coordinator. I don't want to deal with the responsibilities of being a head coach anymore. I want to go have fun and enjoy myself and not worry about all the business sides of being a coach. So if you're Deshaun Foster, what are you gonna say? No, it's his alma mater. I mean, he is a solid coach, no question about it. But what they asked him to do was virtually impossible. You have to run a program. That's what's so hard. I mean, it's just not coaching, because coaching becomes a small part of running a program now, with all the NIL stuff that's going on, with just trying to be out there, trying to be the face of the program. So there are a lot of things that were going on for Deshaun Watson that I don't think put him in a great position to be the head coach. And listen, I was rooting for him and wanted him to wanted it to happen, but the deck was stacked against him. And if we stay there, look at Tim Skipper at UCLA right now. Who are they showing all the time when you see UCLA highlights right now? It certainly is not him. I think you can make an argument who, people that don't follow the sport, who they would tell you who the head coach is by what they see on television and who they see. So that's another issue. But I just think that it's, we're in a point now where people want stuff done now. You might be able to blame Coach Sig for that down in Indiana, because what he has done is said, hey, I can win. I've got a proven formula. Now all you need to do is give me the resources, and Indiana did. And so I think that's going to change the way programs look. But I think, getting back to it, I just don't know that the economics right now with the coaching and the salaries that they're paying right now, to even with coordinators, or it's causing people to say, hey, we this is what we should be doing. We should be winning. We should be a championship team right now, even though you're maybe the 4th best team in your conference. We think we should be the best team in our conference, and we're gonna put the resources in to do it. So it's gonna be interesting to watch.
Yeah, something that's going to bear watching along those lines. I think it's very interesting, because we've heard the names mentioned in connection with Penn State outside of the ridiculousness of Marcus Freeman, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous. But I think, of course, Matt Rule being a former player, I've actually heard former Notre Dame defensive coordinator Al Golden's name mentioned. Would he do 1 year in the NFL and come back to his alma mater?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was rubbing shoulders with Marcus Freeman in that program. Could he be ready now for a reincarnation as a head coach in college? I think an interesting name that I think would be a home run hire. I don't know if he would do it, but Fran Brown would give that program a totally different swag. Now, I don't know if that's the direction Penn State would want to go, but you want some energy and some life breathing into that organization and that program, and then bring a little bit more lights from the outside with who he is and his personality and the recruiting you already see he can recruit. I think that's an interesting name. Then you have the usual suspects, Nick Saban. It's like Clark Lee was an interesting name. With all of that being said, the one name to me that was very interesting was Curt Cignetti. And I said to myself, if I'm thinking about Penn State brand and history, I get it. But if I think about Curt Cignetti, his ego, and how he views his program currently in comparison to where Penn State is right now, I don't know if I can make a compelling case to him other than money to leave. Because and then the next question, how far is the distance between what he has built up to right now and Ohio State? Because look, we did the show Monday, and Malik starts the show saying, hey, man, your boys play hard. And I said, Left, don't give me that. Ohio State took it easy on us. It could have been much.
I would say this. I would say that Illinois wasn't as bad as they were versus Indiana. They weren't that bad. 50-some points bad. But they did some good stuff against Ohio State. It wasn't like Ohio State, they get inside the 5-yard line. Nobody had a rushing touchdown or red zone type touchdowns and all of that stuff. And Illinois found a way to get that done. But, I mean, that's just I think, listen, Ohio State's further away from them when you start to go down the roster, right? And the rosters are everything. That's what's gonna, determine, your fortunes. And so Indiana is not there yet. It is a great question because I think if you ask a Penn State fan, hey, do you think Penn State is a better job than Indiana today? They'd all immediately say, yeah, absolutely. And then you say, well, wait a minute, y'all weren't happy with a dude that all he did was put up double-digit wins for you the last few years and brought your program back from the abyss. And Bill O'Brien had a lot to do with it. He had 2 years there and helped them get out of the Sandusky stuff. But when Franklin came in and took over that program, they had a lot of issues. And he elevated that place and took it to new heights. And you can make the argument that he was the victim of his own success because he wasn't able to beat the Ohio States and the Michigans of the world, who, oh, by the way, were rolling at that particular time. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, do you really think that you should be beating Ohio State and Michigan all the time? Or do you just want to beat them every other year or something like that? So, I think that has to be investigated. Well, it doesn't even have to be investigated. They've said, we expect to win national championships. That's who they believe they are. But if you're Cignetti, I'd say this too. There's some practical reasons why it's highly unlikely that he'd be able to take that job because of where his team is right now. And if they make a run, they make the playoffs, all of a sudden, he's not going to be running the Indiana program and then trying to run Penn State. I don't think he's built that way. That's not something he wants to do. Also, he's proven that you could win at a school where you couldn't traditionally win anything, or a Big Ten championship, let alone be competing for a national title. So why does he have to leave? His coordinators are taken care of. I mean, his DC's making over $2 million. His offensive guys making close to $1.5 million. So Indiana's putting the resources behind it, and trust me, they're willing to put up more resources to make sure that it didn't go anywhere. So Penn State is a tough position to be in, man. Because you start to think, well, who does take the job? And are they going to be more accomplished than the guy you just fired? And I would say, I would compare it a little bit to when Jim Harbaugh remember when I think it was during COVID or right after COVID, Jim Harbaugh had to take a pay cut. They asked him to take a pay cut. Jim Harbaugh all of a sudden went and hired a bunch of football guys that he had no connection to. None. They were just football guys that came highly recommended to him, and all of a sudden the program took off because there were different voices there. James Franklin didn't get that opportunity, and you would think he would have been able to, but the reality is that thing was so toxic there, from whether it's the fan base or whatever, it was so bad that there are two people that are really relieved right now, and nobody wants to get fired, but I guarantee you his family is relieved that that situation is now over and they can look to do other things, because that thing had gotten bad. It had gotten really bad there. And it's unfortunate, but again, it goes back to expectations, and the expectations are there, and he'll tell you he should have won those games. He wish it was different. He'll tell you that, but it wasn't. So you have to kind of roll with what happened and keep moving.
You and Coach DiNardo for years have gone to all these camps and sat with the coaches, the players, taking in practice. Have you ever been part of anything that you went to their camp and came out with one thought, possibly this team is ready to possibly challenge for a national championship, and literally a month and a half later, after the season, like you guys and Coach have to sit and say, there's no way we saw this coming when we were watching practice and sitting and talking to them?
Not a chance. And to be fair, I didn't see him this year, but I know the program well enough and know the roster well enough there was no way I saw this coming. For them to lose to UCLA and Northwestern, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They got better players. And I know Nico all of a sudden got some juice and started playing well, but it is no way. But what was interesting when you keep looking at it, we were saying, okay, well, why has the offense not been so dominant early in the first 3 games? They really never had put up the type of performance you would have expected that they did in previous years. They would dog walk things in the previous years. We didn't see that. You saw the defense take off in the first 3 games. Okay, that might be better, but you really didn't have a way of gauging it. And then all of a sudden, man, what is 17 days? And he's out of a job. So it's one of those things. But again, I go back to, man, that's where we are right now in college athletics, and it's one of those deals right now where everything's on the table. I mean, you got guys, you got programs now that are saying, and this was going back a couple weeks, after that 4 games, and guys are saying, oh, well, I don't think I want to play. I think I want a red shirt. They say, yeah, you want a red shirt, we're going to red shirt that check too. So you ain't getting paid since you red shirted. So that NIL deal you had, yeah, that's going away since you want a red shirt. So we're going to start to see more and more organizations and programs, and I'm calling their programs, but I'm calling them organizations that are going to start moving in a direction and moving a certain way where, hey, it's going to become closer and closer to professional athletics as we continue to move forward. No, by the way, they still need to go to school and be eligible.
Before we let you go, Howard Griffith from the Big Ten Network right here, presented by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. 9.5. 9.5 is the spread on this game for the fight. That's a lot of points, my man. It started out at 7.5. It started out at 7.5, and it's gone up to 9.5. Over under sits at 61.5 points.
Man.
Woo. That over under total with the rain might be something you know.
Take a look at it.
Now, wouldn't it be funny if this ended up being a defensive battle of both offenses trying to scrape out points? It would be only right. I wanted to ask you, does Penn State need a Marcus Freeman type hire? Because Marcus Freeman wasn't your typical Notre Dame hire.
Quite frankly, had Marcus Freeman not been the defensive coordinator, he probably wouldn't have been on the list of
Facts.
to be interviewed, right?
Facts.
But he's special. I mean, he's a different kind of guy. I just think the challenge, man, is the expectation. Is Penn State willing to? Because remember, Franklin was recruiting. Now he could have probably recruited a little bit better, but he was recruiting. That dude, his staff,
for sure.
they get it in on the recruiting. They leave no stone unturned when it comes to recruiting. They going after it. Are you going to bring in a guy that might not be as adept in that area, who might not be? And the other thing about him, that he knew what to do in front of the microphone. He's gonna win a press conference. He's gonna say all the right things. And if it's a first-time head coach, is the athletic department willing to take possibly go to 6-7 wins if they don't hire necessarily the right guy, or it's some young hotshot guy, right? So if you hire a young hotshot, you got to make sure that person is protected, and you got to make sure he puts a staff together that's going to be able to support him. And I think you're talking about how many, I guess another question, how many coaches are out there right now that would leave their blue blood program to come to Penn State? Because that's what you're looking for. That's when you talk about what just walked out, what you pushed out the door, you have to say, well, who brings that kind of juice? Who can do that?
Well, you would think in order to make that move, you already have a guy in mind. I would think if I'm ready to make that move and give up $49 million, I know who I want, and I have a pretty good idea that we can land him. I would have to feel comfortable to make that move in the middle of the season, pointing out all of the big time candidates will more than likely be going deep into January in the playoffs or late December. I would think that Penn State would have to know we have a good shot of getting this guy. Maybe it is Matt Rhule, who we don't expect to be in the playoffs. That's a Penn State alum. Maybe that has a great relationship with the AD. Maybe he's that guy.
Well, let's be clear. It's not a great relationship. I mean, they probably tell you they're fans. This, but it begs the other question, right? Are they so close that maybe he won't go after Matt Rhule because of that relationship? I don't know. That's the other side of it. That's the other side of it. But you would think, absolutely, you would think that but I would couch that again by saying things were so bad. You would have had your student athletes talking about, is Franklin getting fired this week? Is he getting asked the same questions over and over and over again? At some point, which I'm sure he was, Franklin was tired of asking those questions, being asked those types of questions and what was going on. So it is going to be a fascinating search. I think it'll be more difficult than we'll know, just because of all the moving parts that are there. But I tell you this, they are putting the resources behind it. They've got a $700 million renovation going on at the stadium. I mean, this proposition that they got going on and what's happened, this ain't, this is no money to snooze at. Most places don't even have these kind of resources to be doing all these things at this moment. You got assistants that are making $3 million, $2.5 million. So, they pushed their chips to the middle of the table this year to win a national championship. Didn't get there, and now we're seeing what the repercussions are. But I would also say that I think this is what we're going to start to see a lot of situations look like, because everybody wants to, we're spending all this revenue. We want to see a return. And by the way, you start taking this money, aren't they going to want to see a return too? Everybody's going to want. So who you answering to? Who's calling the shot? Be interesting.
Man, do they have an accelerated 10-month, 11-month program for like Power 4 assistant coaches?
Man,
it's $3 million.
Man, it is a great gig to get, isn't it? Hey, you know what? We don't like you anymore. Take this $50 million and go off and do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Sign me up.
Anything else standing out before we let you go about the Big Ten? Ohio State. Can Penn State be a spoiler? They play Indiana. Of course, they lose Drew Aller. Okay.
I'll tell you who to keep an eye on. If you're not watching, I'm sure you guys are paying attention to them, but this Washington team with DeMond Williams.
They actually, Howard, they played Ohio State is about as tough as you can play Ohio
for about
State.
3 quarters.
Almost 3 quarters.
Yeah. Nobody, I don't think most teams have the personnel to slow DeMond Williams down the way they did. And I'm telling you, this dude, he 5'9", for real. And he gonna stand in the pocket. He does a great job of throwing his guys open, anticipating. And when he runs the ball, I've said this, to me, he reminds me so much of Braxton Miller, but a much better passer. His athleticism is off the charts, but this kid can sling it with the best of them. And, they got, Boston, a wide receiver that he's unreal. Jonah Coleman's unreal. And that defense is coming along. They're long and lanky on the defensive side. Washington is going to have a lot to say coming down the stretch about who's ultimately going to be in the Big Ten championship game and also who's going to make it to the playoffs.
All right, fans, we appreciate our big brother, Howard Griffith, for joining us right here. I'm so glad you answered that $150 million question. Left was going on and on.
Yeah. They got to call his people, but I don't see it. No.
Yeah, I don't see him going, but hey, it's worth thinking about.
Sometimes that Notre Dame degree can get you way out there. You need that fighting Illini degree to kind of reel you back in.
Reel him back in. Don't worry, I don't
bring
think
you back to reality
anyway anytime soon.
All right, bro. We appreciate
fellas, be
you.
good. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks for jumping on, man. You too.
Appreciate
It's gonna be a quick one for you.
Okay, that's
what I'm gonna make sure it's a quick.
Run the route.
That's Howard Griffith right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. He's one of the best, and as always, we love having him on. Hope you enjoyed that preview of the USC Notre Dame game and just some conversation about the Big Ten and everything that's going on in the news cycle. Let's get some more Chris Ash, and then we'll get out of here. Left, is that cool?
Yeah.
Chris Ash, of course, he talked about being consistent and working hard. That's how they got out of the pit they have dug for themselves defensively. Now he talks about the challenge of facing USC.
They're talented. They've got speed. They've got a good scheme. There's a lot that goes into it, but starts with the players. They got good players. And then when you match that with a good scheme, they just put stress on you every play for 60 minutes, and you got to be on your job and all the details for 60 minutes.
Mayave has such a quick release. Lots of times on Saturday he was getting rid of the ball in less than 2 seconds. What kind of stress does that put, particularly on defense? Obviously, it's got to be frustrating for a defensive line trying to get to them.
Yeah, that's part of their scheme. It's what they do. They do it really well. But yeah, we're going into the game. We have to affect the quarterback, but you have to do that in different ways. It's not necessarily just about sacks. The rush and the coverage have to work together, but they do a great job with what they do and what they ask him to do, and they protect them. That's why they haven't been sacked very much this year.
Yeah, I mean, he was right on when he said different ways of pressure outside of sacking him. And I think just having just pressures in general to speed his clock up. But outside of that, my bigger picture was just making him earn it. As long as they're not getting explosive touchdowns and you putting the pressure on them to execute long drives for touchdowns, I think we'll be able to have a good day against them, because that way it leaves room for them to mess up and us not just give up crazy plays, right? We don't want to give up crazy plays, make them earn it. And I think we'll benefit higher from that with turnovers, because it's just hard to do 60 plays perfect to get, the 40 points you're looking for.
Look, man, I really think that the one thing that we have seen improve week to week is the marriage of the pass rush with the coverage. I think they are really kind of locked in right now. I truly believe that they're locked in right now. And so moving forward, the hope for me is they're going to continue that trend. Someone said it, I forget who it was in the chat. They asked it, Denbrock's last stand. There it is, Left. What's going to be a good barometer for the defense this weekend? Because USC is going to score. And, last year we would say, man, we don't care who the opponent is. We have to find 17 points. Like, do we see this opponent scoring 17 points?
I see they can get to 24. I just don't see more than that, though, because we're going to have the ball also. And unless they're just going 3 and out because they're trying to score fast, I just don't see them scoring over 24.
They scored 31 against Michigan. It was 31-13. Michigan didn't have the offense, to really kind of take away from their, sometimes the best defense is your offense and your ability to score and limit their possessions. So 24, if Notre Dame gave up 24 points, fans should be happy, especially if it's in a victory. Fans should be happy. 24 points should suffice for fans. Now, if they hold USC under 20, throw a party.
That's a good
throw a party.
Yeah,
throw a party, because this Notre Dame defense is getting to the point where we're going to have to say, okay, yes, they're cooking.
What other challenges are you looking at?
Yeah. It is. It's paramount. Chris Ash was also asked about whether or not the change in the defense or the improvement has come from play calling. This is what he had to say about that, Left. Interesting.
There's really not a change in any of it. What we're calling is the stuff that we've been calling really since last spring. We'll have some new things each week for the opponent that we play, but we just had to continue to work, continue to improve our fundamentals, our eyes, our consistency. And understand that it's all part of the process, and you can't just show up and expect to win. You got to work, and you got to go earn the results that you want, and that's what we had to do.
Obviously, like I said, your defense has been dominant in past games, but earlier this season, against ranked opponents, not so much. Now you have another top 25 team. What's the mindset going into this game, and what do you think needs to change to prove that this defense can play elite competitors?
Yeah, the mindset's the same it's been each week. We just got to go out, we got to play the calls. We got to make sure we execute at a high level. We got to play with great effort, great fundamentals, and again, do it consistently for 60 minutes. That's really it. And that's defensive football, and we've got to go out and play great defense on Saturday night.
What's this rivalry mean to you?
I'm really excited to be a part of it. I've been a part of some other big ones, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, and then this one. And feel really fortunate to be here, to have this opportunity to be in this game. It is a big game. Grew up watching this game, and it's an honor to be here. So it's one of the best rivalries in all of sports. So it's going to be a great atmosphere and a great opportunity to go out and play on Saturday night.
Just not going to pull much from him. I'm just excited to see, that he has a process to things, like he said, and they trust the process, then we should be on point. So it sticks to our confidence in where are they going to find 24 at, because I do think when we're firing on all cylinders, knowing where our identity is, it's just a long day. And then for our offense to do what they do, it gets a lot of deep offense, other offenses in a conundrum because are you going to stick to the game plan or do you play catch up?
I'll say this. I do think there has been some input from others concerning play calling. I do think Marcus Freeman wasn't particularly happy with some situational calls. But I don't think he's capping because I still see some of this head scratching play calls with defensive ends trailing tight ends, defensive tackles dropping into coverage, getting real cute with designs. I still see it. Now, they're tackling better, so they're covering up that, and they're not giving up the massive big plays. Mekhi Lemon can have a Mekhi Lemon game, but if he has a Mario Craver game, then it's a problem. That means now they've resorted back to missing tackles, missed assignments, bad eyes, like Chris Ash talked about, just playing undisciplined football defensively. So, I don't think there's been if it has been a difference, it's marginal and more than likely situational with some input. But I do think, and I said this, Left, what you're seeing is that players are just making players. I mean, players are just making plays defensively. That's what's really.
That's right. KVA making a pick. Carson Hodge getting
literally last week, everyone on the D line made a play at some point.
At some point,
everybody on the D line made a play at some point.
Traore sets it off, and everybody follows.
Oh, everybody. Elijah Hughes, Jared Dawson, dude. Josh Burnham Jr. makes 2 plays on the sack, then, getting out to the screen. Everybody was making plays. All of the linebackers were making plays. Jaden Osbury made a play. Kingston made a play. Drake Bowen made a play coming down. Like, everyone in that front 7 made plays and made life miserable for CJ Bailey, and it led to 3 interceptions. I mean, that's the work, and I guess that's the result of the work Chris Ash was talking about that they've been putting in. So, I'm looking forward to this one, man. I'm looking forward. That's Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator. Bleav Network, audio edibles each and every day, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow us on social media, X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube. Hit that like button. Leave your comments and questions because we converse with you. We like that. We respond to all. The chat, thank you for the super chat, the GTB questions. You guys are the best and the greatest third co-host any show could have on a daily basis. Tomorrow, we will hear from the players. The players are fired up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Several Notre Dame players said they were fired up for this one. And I can't wait.
I saw KK Smith say one of the more glowing things about his own quarterback we've heard from the receiver room in a long time.
Man.
Said the quarterback not has the unique ability to use his legs, but he's the first quarterback who can see the field like nobody else. That's a special compliment.
That's what you love to hear for a quarterback that is a little bit better.
Just a little teeny
a little bit better than Bryce Underwood. If you don't leave this show knowing anything else, Notre Dame fans, know that you have a starting quarterback that's just a little bit better. Just a little bit better than Bryce Underwood. Just a little. That's a little. That's all. Lucky Lefty Podcast for Left SD2 mics. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Left and I are going to talk because tomorrow's show might be taped because tomorrow is my mom's birthday.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah, we taking a day off. We're
coming back Friday.
Yeah, we got to come back Friday. Come on.
Okay, then we'll come. Hey, executive call from Left. We'll see you guys Friday.
Right there, man. Come
Malik
on,
3 keys and predictions on Friday.
Man,
make sure you have absolutely, and everybody else, make sure you continue to spin it different.